Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is OG Star Wars, your Legends girl, trying to make it in this discounted world, and today's lore is Assault at Selonia. So this is book 2 in the Corellian Trilogy. Book 1 I reviewed last Tuesday. We are now on book 2, and then book 3, the final book of the Corellian Trilogy, will happen next week. And so this is a really good trilogy. So each one has a little bit different take from me on how I feel about it. And I think it's very interesting, you know, the differences in between, you know, the banner and not the banner, but that's okay because I am supporting Legends. I'm supporting the original lore. So if I end up not having the book and I end up getting the Legends banner, I don't really care. It just shows Disney, Star Wars, where I prefer to get my lore from. And it's right here. So despite that, let's get into the meat and potatoes of book 2. So in book 2, we have Leia and Mara, who are being held hostage by the Justice League, who is led by Thracken Solo. And Leia and Mara are in separate rooms right next to each other. And Leia, we get to see her use the Force a little bit more, and she uses the Force to distract the guards to obtain her her lightsaber. And then she ends up cutting through the wall into Mara's room, and together they have an escape plan, and they get out. They are pursued, so it's a climactic little scene there, or read there, and so they get out and they escape. And we also have Thracken Solo, who has captured Han, and Han is imprisoned with a Selonian named Drachmus, and Thracken thinks that actually he sets up a fight between the two, between Han Solo and Drachmus, not realizing that Han can understand the Selonian language and also speaks it. So from there, they do their fight, and they also, you know, communicate through this fight, and they form, I guess you could say, a friendship, and help Drachmus helps Han escape, and leads him, you know, out from captivity. So that's what's going on in the book as well. So that's how Han gets away from his cousin Thracken Solo. But within that too, we also hear the banter between the two of them about how Thracken Solo wants to either capture the Solo kids, or even you know, on top of him, so that he can lure Leia in. And we get the impression, of course, he explains, and this clip is going to explain it a little bit better, but he explains about who he is, what he wants to do, how he wants to get rid of all alien species as well. And he considers the natives to these worlds aliens, not natives. And to Han, that doesn't make sense. So this is a very interesting little clip here that I'm going to share. So enjoy.
We almost got your kids, you know. Our spotters saw that Wookiee pal of yours hustle them into your ship, and we scrambled a flight of pocket patrol boats to go after them. If we had caught them, we'd really have some leverage on your wife. Han stared at his cousin, astonished in spite of himself. It took a very special kind of mind to come up with such schemes. How can you do it, Thracken? How can you go against the best traditions of our people? Never involve the innocent. Always protect your family. Don't those words sound familiar at all? I don't run my life according to the morals from old nursery stories. Han's temper was starting to get the better of him. So how do you run your affairs? What are the moral lessons you live by? Thracken chortled and took another pull at his bottle. Fine questions coming from a pirate and a smuggler and a traitor. I've been called worse things, Han said evenly, but we're talking about you. If Thracken was in a talking mood, Han wanted to encourage him. If he could twit his cousin's vanity, get him talking about himself, Thracken might well tell him something.
That was part 1 of the clip, and so we have like a little indication and glimpse into like how corrupted Thracken Solo is. And you also get there's a contrast between Han Solo and Thracken, where one, you know, even though he chose a path of, being a smuggler, a scoundrel, all that. If you've read the Han Solo trilogy, you would see, exactly why he turned out the way he did and why he wants a family and why he wants to be respectable. Then you go to Thracken Solo, the total opposite of Han Solo. And, he was raised under his family name. He knew of the family history, basically lived well off because of being a Solo. And then from there became, a part of an imperial bureaucrat. And so we have these different contrasts between these two Solo family members. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the second part of this clip. It's long, so I didn't want to have it drawn out all the way through. And so this gets more into their conversation. So enjoy.
I really want to know, how did you get to where you are? When I left Corellia, you weren't much more than an imperial bureaucrat, back when there still was an empire. How did you get to be the grand, exalted, hidden leader, or whatever it is they call you now? Thracken sneered. They call me by my proper title. They call me the Diktat, and it's a title I have every right to claim. How so? How did you earn it? Let's just say that I maneuvered my way into progressively more important posts. By the time of the Battle of the Second Death Star, I was almost ready to push Diktat Galimbi out. We were all set. Thracken paused for another swig on his bottle, and his face darkened. But then we heard about the Emperor's death, and about the defeat in the Endor system. That was enough for the alien scum here and for their sympathizers. Aliens? What aliens? You know damn well. The non-human scum here on Corellia. The Selonians and the Drawl. Right. How could they be aliens? They've lived here for thousands of years. They aren't human, so they're aliens. Obviously, so far as Thracken was concerned, there could be no argument. So, the Empire collapsed, Han said. What did you do? I started planning, plotting, looking toward the long term, finding friends one place, favors someplace else. Started finding people who'd done all right under the Empire and wanted the old days back. No one telling the Corellian sector what to do. Independent. Just us here, putting the aliens back in their place. I thought you were going to kick them off the planet. I heard the announcement. If the New Republic didn't move all the non-humans off the planet, you'd blow up another star. That's one of the lies I've been telling. No way to do that. Impossible. But it makes them sweat.
We also have Ibrahim, who flees with the Solo kids and Chewie, and he takes him to Drawl, to his aunt's place, and her name is Marcha. And they discuss an archaeological dig that's happening on the planet there. And so they examine the footage of what's going on Drawl, the dig, and the Solo kids confirm that it is just the same mysterious machine that they got to investigate that Anakin Solo was drawn to on Corellia. So it's the same exact machine that's inside the planet. And so from there, Ibrahim and Chewie and Marcia secretly get the kids to the site there where they get to explore, and Anakin activates it and discovers it's an ancient repulsor system, basically our machine, and that's very similar to the one on Corellia as well. So we learn more of what Centerpoint Station is and how a Corellia system was formed in this trilogy. There is stipulations on what the New Republic has to comply with. Are they going to go ahead and basically destroy stars in the system and various systems and have them go nova? And so their second attack happens, and Wedge Antilles and his command go in and try to rescue as many people in the system that's being attacked. And they get enough out, but they couldn't get everyone out, and so he's facing that reality. So there's a glum in there, there's that sense of like feeling hopeless, even though they tried their best. And the third system is now on the list, and so there's a countdown towards that, and they're realizing Wedge and his force are realizing, and the New Republic are realizing that Bavo Yagan system is up next, and they won't have time to rescue everybody, and that's about 12 million people are inhabitants in that system. And so that countdown happens, and that's basically towards the end of the book and leaves us up in suspense as well. And so it's very dramatic. It's this one is a good read as well. This one, the first one, kind of starts off slow a little bit, but there are some very good points in here. And this is the third one, the Corellian Trilogy, and this will be next week. All right, thank you for watching. Any comments, leave it below. Any questions as well. And please like, subscribe, and share, and may the force be with you.